and gentlemen, boys and girls, this the news beat presented to you by Ladies Like and Jess Sentino. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. Reporting a crime can be difficult with no 911 to call for help. You could be dead in a minute. Technology doesn't stop the criminal, but there's an app that can get you out of trouble.
Kenya has just launched a crime reporting app. Kenyans can now report a crime on the spot.
The app was launched by Kenya's National Criminal Research Center, who have tried in many ways to help people be better protected.
The app is free and available on all devices. Now people can keep an eye out for others' vices and no need to fear being called a rat or a traitor.
The app keeps all information confidential, so you can keep sending more.
With the app, you can also upload documents and photographs, which could be used in the court as proof of an act.
As of mid-2016, crime has gone down 13% compared to November 2015.
Most crimes go unreported, and people feel the police is too corrupted. But maybe the app will make it easier to report crimes and feel safer. A few days after taking office, President Donald Trump signed an executive order targeting all illegal immigrants within the American borders. But the American president has been criticized for his immigration policies as he continues to deliver on his campaign promises. In the past week, many immigrants across America were rounded up on a whim, and several immigrant communities were gripped with the fear of losing their American dream. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement said the operations were routine, and the arrests were no different from the ones of the former regime. However, several businesses across the country were put to a test when the immigrant workers stayed away to join the A Day Without Immigrants protest. In an effort to demonstrate to the Trump administration that the American economy is sustained by the immigrant population, restaurants and diners were closed in many American cities, with some businesses also shutting down in the solidarity. About 120 works of art were also taken down or covered with black sheets at the Davis Museum at Wellesley College in Massachusetts. The artworks account for 20% of the work in the museum's permanent galleries, and some of the art pieces were also donated by immigrant families. Next month's scheduled protest, dubbed A Day Without Women, is next in rotation as follow-up to the women's protest, which received massive civil participation a day after President Donald Trump's inauguration. Young entrepreneurs are making it big day by day. Our reporter Paulo Raps is here with more details.
Africa has the world's highest unemployment rates, and many African youths lack access to capital to start up a business. However, lack of capital did not deter some of Africa's young entrepreneurs as they rose from their humble beginnings to fulfill their business ideas. Former Trawali fled a civil war in Liberia to settle in Gambia in 1989 and returned home in 1991 to sell rubber slippers, which were on high demand at the time. Trawali used all $200 from his savings to start making rubber slippers, and by 2010, Trawali had transitioned from importer to manufacturer, setting up the first paper and toiletry products manufacturing company in Liberia. At the age of 19, Patrick Ngowi started selling Chinese phones in his home country of Tanzania, but later took a $1,800 loan from his mother to secure solar products from China. A close friend of Ngowi sponsored the journey, and today he owns Helvetic Solar Contractors, one of East Africa's biggest solar energy companies, which has installed over 6,000 solar panels in the region and is estimated to have made more than $5 million in the revenues in 2013 alone. Raising capital from personal savings and acquiring loans from friends and family to start up a business has become the young African entrepreneur's new road to success. I'm Paula Raps, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, Paulo Raps, for that report. Many Ugandans can't access information on health or farming. They don't have options, but they are in dire need of that education. We know the problem, but what's the solution? Airtel and Human Network International have launched the 161 service portal. Now anyone with a simple mobile phone can call Airtel and learn on their own. The service supports farmers and fishing communities to prepare for the seasons, and for climate change, they can listen and learn in their local languages, and users don't have to be literate to engage. The service was first launched in Madagascar. That was 2010. Now it's all over Africa. It's in 14 countries from Ghana to Zambia, reaching over 125 million subscribers. Costs are subsidized through corporate partners, making the service affordable for farmers. The award-winning service is easy to use for a starter. It needs no training, just access to the network. It sounds amazing, but how does it work? Call 161 on Airtel and listen to the options for language and topic. Then make a selection. You can even tune into Newsbeat on your phone. Just select 6 on your menu and stay informed. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still Ladies Like and Jess Sentino, reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Yes, follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the